Do you have a mic for me? Sorry? Do you have a mic for me? Thank you very much for having me here. I don't know whose idea was it to invite me, but I've got a sense that I was a second afterthought because I got this invite only 10 days ago. But it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because 31 years ago, I got my MPCHB. The thing about that, though, was that during that period of time, brown, Indian, and African medical students did not graduate because we took a stand because of what was happening. Our predecessors took a stand and said, we're not going to graduate. So I'd like to thank you for inviting me. This is the first time ever I've been in a graduating ceremony. So I'd like to graduate with you. Thank you. Like Snoop Dogg says, I'd like to thank myself for being here. I'd like to thank myself for perseverance. I'd like to thank myself for waking up in the morning. And I'd like to thank myself to share this evening with you. I was born and bred in Mlazi. I was never number one at school. I was a quota student. When I went to medical school, I was a quota. I love sports. There's a guy called Hashim Amla. He was a quota, but he became a world-renowned cricket batter. So these names they give you don't determine who you are, right? I just want you to know that today you've achieved so much. I don't know your background, but I know mine. And I wasn't supposed to be here because my background defined me to be somewhere else. Dr. Nzimande and other people talk about the dreams. I want to go into that as a first point. And I want to talk about women. I've never been a woman, so I'm not really qualified, but I want to talk about women and medicine. And lastly, I want to guide you wherever I can about career choices. Why is that? Because I'm a firm believer in pursuit of your own happiness. Happiness with a Y, Happynes. Have you ever watched the movie In Pursuit of Happiness? You're too young, maybe. But anyway, I can't say his name, but he was with his son, Jaden Smith. I don't like mentioning his name because he slept. My all-time favorite stand-up comedian, Chris Rock. So I'm not gonna name him, but I've got his tattoo here. Pursuit of happiness, your own happiness, not defined by anyone else, right? So let's talk about the dreams that I think will make you happy. And that's going to be your own dream. So dreams, you need to know. Some dreams have got expiration dates. You need to know when to quit. So Dr. Nzimande said she wanted to be in a WNBA. I think I was a great soccer player. I was, and I loved it till today. But when I was 16, grew up in Vezi, I wasn't playing for any notable team. So I had to make a decision. Do I really want to be a soccer player at 16? I'm not playing for any team. I made excuses, maybe because I'm from KZN, maybe because I'm black, maybe because of this. But I ended up not being a soccer player. But that door that I closed on that dream opened other avenues. And I can tell you right now that I'm more happier than I think I could have been as a soccer player. So letting go of your dream doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't try hard enough. Doesn't mean that you're a failure. Doesn't mean that you are going to be defined by that closing that particular door, but it's a wisdom that comes with it when you know you don't want to do this, right? Because we are not going to be the same, right? So it's very important to know your dreams. But also in that, it's not mutually exclusive, that you are the one who has to make the decision to pursue your dream or not. Not your partner, not your parents, not your society. Those people matter in your life, but that's your dream, right? So I had near misses, right? So I didn't become a soccer player, that's okay. So I went to medical school as a coach student, and my first test, I got 15%. 1-5. I came from Menzi, and Menzi at the time was not the Menzi that it is now, that is suppressing Hilton, Michael House, and all of those. Whoever is coming from a Menzi, it's become one of the best schools, right? So I came from a Menzi where only 3 people passed matric during my year. 3. So when I got 15%, I had to make a decision. Do I continue with medicine or not? So I decided to persevere. And so I finished. I never failed any class. I never repeated any block. So it was good. And then I just said, okay, I'm going to do internal medicine, right? Because I like the way they were thinking and this and that. So internal medicine is 4 years. So I decided, okay, you know what? I think I can do this in 3 years. Because there were people in front of me who were doing very well. Professor Nyamandi is here. I was looking up to him. One of the first black people in the Department of Medicine, right? So we look up to all those people. So when I finished, I said, okay, I want to do cardiology. I think, I could be wrong, there are issues that we have in this world, like racial discrimination. So I couldn't get a post. I wanted to let go of the dream, and I was angry. I was as angry as I was after matric because, I didn't tell you this, I took a hiatus for a year because my parents couldn't afford me to go to medical school. In your household, in your parents' household, what's the most heaviest furniture item, do you think? The heaviest. It's a piano. So I worked for a year as a furniture removal boy. And I was angry at my parents. Why didn't you save money? Because you knew I was going to go to medical school. I was angry at the apartheid because it didn't afford my parents what I thought they deserved. But I pursued that dream. So it really occurred when I was finished medicine. I said, but I finished my internal medicine on time. I've never failed. Why can't I become a cardiologist? So I quit. Told my boss I'm quitting. But in quitting, sometimes you have to keep your tentacles in touch with the people that you want. So Dr. Nzimana told about mentors. I had a mentor, DP Naidu, Professor DP Naidu, and I knew he was going to be the next HOD in medicine. I went in private, and when he became a head of medicine, he called me, and I came and I did medicine and cardiology. So in dreams, if they don't go well, sometimes it's just a hiatus. Sometimes you need to let go. If you want to be a basketball player, right? Sometimes as a soccer player. But sometimes it's important to know that continue to pursue your dreams. So I was very fortunate that eventually I ended up being a cardiologist, but I wasn't satisfied with that. So in career pathways, it's very important to know that in South Africa, we've got less than 35,000 doctors, right? In public sector, that's a ratio of 1 doctor per about 3,000 patients. That disparity doesn't make sense because there's an unemployment. For the first time ever, I heard that doctors are unemployed in South Africa. Doctors, unemployed, almost 2,000. So it becomes difficult for you guys. So you need to navigate your own path, like she also said. One of the things that we tend to do is to gravitate to where other people go to. We all want to be in an urban area. But maybe one of the things you can do earlier on in life is to go to a rural area, serve your community, serve indigent patients. But in rural areas or in the outskirts, you upskill your hands-on experience much faster because you're not a minion. You're up there, you're doing surgery, you're delivering patients, you're doing anesthesia, so that you get exposed to different disciplines and you're kind of like making your own decisions. So it's very important that not only serving the most important people in the community in South Africa, but it also upskills you much more and much earlier than someone, your counterpart at King Edward, at Mshieni, Mahatma Gandhi, right? So that's very important. But also in that, when you decide, okay, I'm going to specialize, what kind of a doctor or a person you are? Do you want to see recurring patients? Then be a physician. You don't want to see patients? Be a radiologist. You want to see patient once, be an anesthesiologist. So it's very important to know who you are, right? Because just the names that they throw and you like and you think, okay, that's for me, but it may not be for you. All right. I have to go back to women in medicine. If you have 3 or 4 suitors out there, that could be your husband, you need to choose carefully, because as a woman, there's a lot of societal expectations. You have a boyfriend who's telling you, at the end of 6 years, we need to have a child. At the second, on community health, at the end of your community service, you need a second child. So that are probably his dreams that are not aligned with your dreams. So you need to choose carefully. And also, if you choose a specialty, you're gonna be a wife, you're gonna be a mother, you're gonna be a spouse. So it's a bit difficult for you. So those are challenges that you need to be able to endure and to fight. So what is important as well as a woman, once again, I'm not a woman, so I'm not really qualified for this particular topic, is that you have a stripe against you, particularly if you're not white, right? 2 stripes. So people look down upon you. People will look at you at decision-making level as inferior. And sometimes it's subliminal. They are not even aware they're doing it. Now, are you going to get angry every day that you look down upon, or you're going to fight the system? So I know this because I was dating this very beautiful girl, lady, doctor. She didn't look African. And every time we do groceries, they would start speaking in Zulu, things that she doesn't understand. And she would get angry all the time and then start shouting. Then I said to her, you know what? I have 2 options, and both of them I don't like. One, every time they talk about you, I have to fight. Or I need to be at a distance, away from this commotion. So these are the things that the women sometimes just need to know, okay, I'm gonna fight the system, but I'm gonna persevere. But don't be surprised when men treat you the way that usually men treat women. And I'm not absolving myself from that equation. These are the issues that women face, right? So it can be very difficult. The stereotypes you make about women, be sure that you train yourself as a woman that I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna be an advocate for me as a person. I'm gonna be an advocate for me as I look. Because I'm telling you, I've been a doctor for 31 years. These things happen. And they change very, very slowly, if at all. So anyway, so I'm mixing all these topics. So coming back to career. So you need to know if you want to specialize, where to specialize. Do you have finances to do that? Because if you specialize, you need to be a doyen in your field. You need to be able to wake up in the morning. I get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't care if I had a whole bottle of wine. I'm going to tell you about the rhythm disturbances. I'm going to tell you about the defibrillators. I'm going to tell you about the pacemakers. I'm going to tell you about heart failure, right? So you need to be good. So you need to be trained at the place that is good for you. But it takes more than just that. So at the end of cardiology, I was disillusioned about it. She touched on this again. And I don't want to be waking up at 2 o'clock for acute myocardial infarction for 8-year-old. But that was selfish. And selfishness is the opposite of wickedness. It's the opposite of weakness. It's diminishing the ambient noise that speaks against you and be focused to what you want. That's selfishness. And when you're selfish, you achieve so much. And when you're selfish, once you fulfill people around you, your family, your friends, your community, your country, become happy, right? So that's selfishness I'm talking about. So I said to myself, I don't want to do cardiology. I don't want to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. But that was selfish because I've got a 22-year-old daughter. As a single dad, is it double dad? But you use this term, but now we're non-binary. So I'm struggling with the wedding of someone who has a child with you because the stereotype is that baby mamas are sluts. But I've got the most beautiful baby mama in the world. So we co-parent very well. We should write a book on co-parenting. I was very fortunate. So I raised my daughter since she was like 4 years old. We stayed together, right? So I didn't want to be going to open up arteries at 2 o'clock in the morning because I wanted to break down the stereotype that black fathers are not present. There are stupid black fathers. They will pay 5 grand, 20 grand on a night on pink bottles, but their children go to most basic schools. But also we are stereotyped as fathers. Unfairly so sometimes. There's something that most of you probably wouldn't know called migrant labor system. You take a 22-year-old guy from a rural area, you put him in a box bag or where they mine gold and whatever it is, and you put him there for 52 weeks and he goes home only for 2 weeks. Do you expect him to have one sexual partner? Do you expect him not to have another family? I'm not condoning that, but those are realities. And when people depict black men, they put that as the first thing, forgetting what has happened in the past. So I didn't want to be the other black father. I wanted to be a present father. And electrophysiology afforded me to be a single father who is a great father. I'd like to thank myself for being a great father. I'd like to thank myself for making choices that were selfish but benefited my daughter, because there's no one above my daughter, no one. So it's important to make all these things that make you happy, but you have to be selfish. And you need to know what are your dreams. You need to know when to let go of your dreams. Last year, so I decided that, okay, I'm gonna be a specialist. I'm gonna be a super specialist. I'd done masters in pharmacology. I'd done fellowship in medicine. I'd done fellowship in cardiology, but still I wasn't satisfied. It wasn't my journey. I hadn't reached the cul-de-sac. So I decided I'm gonna specialize. So this is important because when you specialize, like I said, you need to be in the best place. But it goes beyond that. So I went to Belgium, thanks to King Leopold. So first thing they spoke to me in French. I said, wow, I'm from South Africa, I don't speak French. Then I said, okay, oh, you're from South Africa, so your Africans must be good. I said, wow, South Africa is a divided country. I'm from KZN, we hardly speak Afrikaans. Even white people in KZN don't speak Afrikaans that much because Flemish is the most overlapping language to Afrikaans. So I was there for 6 weeks, and obviously my training wasn't going to be good enough. So I decided to come back home. That was prior to be recruited by one of the greatest doctors. Talking about the mentors again, Bongani Mayosi. Most of you will not know that name. I want you to go home and Google Dr. Bongani Mayosi. He is late. He recruited me to UCT, finished my cardiology, advised me to go to Canada where I did my electrophysiology. So in closing, I really want to thank you for giving me this podium, this platform, to graduate with you 31 years later. I'm so honored to be here. Pursue your dreams. Know your expiration date. And thank you.